Okay, let's talk about an object that just completely shatters what we thought we knew about the ancient world. Seriously, its discovery is so wild, it sounds like it was pulled straight out of a movie. So welcome. Let's decode the Antikythera Mechanism.
Right, so picture this. The year is 1901. A group of Greek sponge divers is working off the coast of a tiny island called Antikythera. They stumble upon an ancient Roman shipwreck. And for months, they're pulling up these incredible treasures. Gorgeous marble statues, jewelry, just priceless stuff. And then they find this.
And among all these stunning artifacts, they drag up this lump, a corroded, calcified chunk of bronze. It looks like absolutely nothing. So it gets tossed aside, ends up in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, and just sits there for decades. Totally forgotten. Basically, a piece of junk from the bottom of the sea.
But what if that piece of junk wasn't junk at all? What if it was actually the single most complex, most sophisticated piece of technology to survive from the entire ancient world? What if it held secrets that would force us to rethink the entire timeline of human invention? Now that is a question worth digging into. So let's start right there with this impossible discovery. We're going to talk about how a forgotten chunk of metal managed to completely rewrite the history books.
I mean, just listen to that description again. Not a machine, not a treasure, a lump. It's kind of the ultimate proof that you should never, ever judge an ancient artifact by its cover.
And here's the kicker. This is the part that just doesn't make any sense. The level of engineering inside this thing, it was completely unknown back then. To find anything even close to this complex, you'd have to jump forward in time by more than 1,000 years. It shouldn't have been possible.
So how did we get from a corroded lump to calling this the world's first analog computer? Well, the answer's pretty cool. We had to use our own modern technology to finally see the secrets of theirs. And this is where the story gets really, really good.
The big moment came in the 1970s. Scientists decided to hit the fragments with advanced X-ray and gamma-ray scanning, basically to peek inside without breaking it. And what they saw? Oh man, it didn't just shock them. It completely changed our understanding of history. They found a hidden world, perfectly preserved inside that corroded shell.
So what was in there? Gears. Over 30 of them. And we're not talking about crude, clunky cogs. These were intricately designed, precision-cut bronze gears, all interlocking in this mind-bogglingly complex system. And what did all these gears actually do? Well, this was no simple clock. This was a full-on astronomical calculator. It could predict solar and lunar eclipses, track the complex cycles of the moon, follow the paths of the 5 planets they knew about back then, and it even had a dial to time the next Olympic Games.
Now, of all the incredible things this machine could do, there's one feature that just stands out as a moment of pure, absolute genius. And that's how it managed to model the tricky motion of the moon. Okay, so here's the puzzle the ancient Greeks were up against. The moon doesn't orbit the Earth in a perfect circle, right? It's an ellipse. That means from our point of view, it seems to speed up and slow down in the sky. So how on earth do you build a machine with gears that can copy that without calculus or modern physics?
Their solution was just so clever. It's called a pin and slot mechanism. Deep inside the machine, you have these 2 gears layered together. One has a little pin, and that pin travels inside a slot cut into the other gear. It's such a simple, elegant idea, but it makes the final gear speed up and slow down at just the right moments, perfectly copying the moon's weird orbit.
Let's just break that down because it's that important. The problem, the moon's orbit is irregular. The solution, this unbelievably clever pin and slot gear system. The result, a perfect mechanical model of the cosmos that was so accurate, nothing would come close to it for another 1,000 years. It's a level of genius we just didn't think the ancients had. So all of this leads to the 2 biggest questions of all. First, who in the world was smart enough to build this thing? And maybe even more important, where did this technology go? Why did it just disappear from history? We don't have a name, for sure, but there are some big theories. Some people think it could have been Archimedes, the legendary genius from Syracuse. Others point to Hipparchus, who was basically the father of trigonometry. What we do know is its purpose. This wasn't a weapon. It was a tool for understanding the universe, a device built for nothing but the pursuit of knowledge. Now, this timeline is what really puts the whole mystery into perspective. The mechanism is made around 100 BCE, that lost in that shipwreck, and then nothing. For over 1,000 years, there's just silence. This level of complex gear technology completely vanishes off the face of the Earth. It isn't until the giant cathedral clocks in 14th century Europe that we see anything that even comes close. That's a whole millennium of lost progress.
So you end up with this really stark contrast. On one side, we have what scientists have painstakingly figured out. We know it came from a shipwreck, it's made of bronze gears, and it predicted cosmic events. But on the other side, wow, the unknowns are just huge. Who built it? Why was this amazing technology lost? And the one that really gets you, was this the only one?
Ultimately, the Antikythera Mechanism isn't just a cool gadget. It's a fundamental challenge to how we think about the past. It really forces us to completely rethink the capabilities and the intellectual power of the ancient world.
You see, this device probably wasn't some fluke. It was likely a testament to an incredible intellectual golden age, a time of scientific brilliance that was, for whatever reason, tragically cut short, its knowledge just wiped from the history books. And because this thing exists, it forces us to ask this really big question. If something this advanced could be built and then lost and totally forgotten for 2,000 years, what else don't we know about our own history? What other amazing achievements have just been erased by time? It just leaves your mind racing with possibilities, doesn't it? Maybe this wasn't a one-off. Maybe it's just the first one we've happened to find. What other ancient computers could be out there, buried in the sand, or just sitting silently at the bottom of the sea?
And that leaves us with one final kind of mind-bending question to think about. What if that ship had never sunk? What if this knowledge had survived and been passed down and improved upon for centuries? Where would we be today? Would we have reached for the stars 1,000 years sooner? Well, we'll never know for sure, but the Antikythera Mechanism will forever make us wonder.